No, man, look, I think you're a pussy, I'll be honest with you. I swear. I swear, I really do, Brian. I love you, man, but I mean, dude, you're a wimp.
Hey, it's Brian Soscia with President and Founder of BKFC, David Feldman. And, I have to address this right off the bat. We've been getting comments, people, sending stuff into us saying, COVID, you're not wearing masks. You're not keeping social distance. Listen, we get tested all the time here at BKFC. The testing protocol is insane. I think since I started a couple months ago with you, I've had like 25, 30 swabs up my nose. I've been singing the song Paige Vanzant taught me. Dan, dan, dan. Another swab up the nose, the whole thing, It's so true. Like I said, 25 to 30 at least. And sometimes they poke your brain. Sometimes there's one here, sometimes there's twice. How many times have you been tested, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, probably double that. Already, Brian. And I've come back negative every single time, knock on wood. We do the right thing. We try to keep it as proactive as possible, as protective as possible for everybody. But, this is something that's out of our control, and it can happen at any time. One person gets it, then the next thing you know, 50 people have it. But luckily enough, we've only had 2 or 3 positive cases on everybody that we tested so far.
Yeah, and they immediately, if they're at the fight, gone, we're very careful with that. So I still feel sometimes from having the COVID tests, if you've had this done, trust me, the first one I had done was like a wooden swab, and it went up into my eyeball, like in my sinus. I could feel it poke in my brain. I can still feel it in my sinus sometimes. Do you feel any residual effects of getting these tests?
You know what? My nose has been broke so many times. I actually think it helps straighten my crooked nose sometimes. like I'm like, no, not that nostril, so maybe I can put my nose back over there. It's crazy.
It helped me out too. I'm all smeared across my face. That's a good thought. But the other thing, you were making fun of me about this before we went on the air. Today, before I came in, I got another kind of test. I got a flu shot today, which I've never gotten in my entire life because I don't want to get sick. But I have a wife that's pregnant and all, and I hate needles. Look, I mean, it's this arm. It still hurts. I'm afraid to move it. You can call me a whip. But you were making fun of me about that. Have you had your flu shot yet this year?
I have not. Actually, the wife said to me, let's go get our flu shot. But the last time I had a flu shot, I got the flu.
That's what they say, right? I've never had one in my life. I'm good now.
Crazy. Like, I'll do it all. Like, my son's having a baby, and they want me to get the whooping cough.
I got that
vaccination, and I'm like this is crazy. Like, things like this didn't happen 20, 30 years ago, and now all of a sudden you got to get vaccinated for everything.
But isn't whooping cough from like the 1920s or something? I don't even know.
It is, but
horrible. What is whooping cough? Do you even know?
I don't.
You just whoop and you cough. It's a horrible, yeah. Right?
Sorry, bro.
Sorry about the mic to our audio guy. We probably just blew his ear out. But he said, yep. But as far as that, I mean, look, needles. I'm petrified of them. Do you not like needles? Is that why you didn't get your flu shot?
No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I've had my fair share of vaccinations and blood tests and things like that, but it doesn't. I'm not afraid of a needle. But
we have a guy on staff.
Where are you going with this?
I'm going some. We got a guy on staff, DB, petrified of needles. I love how you're being so nice to me on the air right now, because DB's this guy. He was like 300 pounds of pure mass and muscle, and he's petrified of needles too. We commiserate on this together. You were making fun of me relentlessly off the air for being afraid of needles, and now you're being so nice. Why are you doing that? You put on that public persona?
No, man. Look, I think you're a pussy. I'll be honest with you. I swear, I really do, Brian. I love you, man, but I mean, dude, you're a wimp.
Dude, you know what? I'm going to agree with you. I don't like needles. If that makes me wimp, I'm good with that. I'm glad we went public with that because I was tired.
So you want the real David Feldman?
Yes, I do.
Today.
You want the real Brian Soscia? We talked about this. We're always too nice to each other on here. All right, let's talk about our trip to Florida recently. We went down to ATT. We were filming Paige Vanzant for some progression, showing how she's progressing. She was hitting the mitts. She's with her trainers. Tiago was training. We got some comments from him. You saw some of this footage, I believe. You saw the footage, right? What are your thoughts on how Paige is progressing? I mean, you're a former fighter.
She's definitely coming around better with her punching skills. Before, she was punching good, but it was more of a MMA type of a punch. And now she's learning a boxing punch, which is different. You turn it over differently. You can let it lay in there a little longer. Sometimes the MMA strikes come from different angles, and they don't go all the way through you. It's more of a contact thing, and then pull out and set it up for something else. This is to hurt you and end the fight. So her punching just looked, in all honesty, it looked very, very good. I was very impressed with where she was going with her punching.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, with Paige at least, what I can see is, she does some very sexual, scandalous, they're great, social media posts. And people are saying, oh, she should concentrate on training, not doing all that. Right. I was there watching her train. Again, you know more about fighting than I do, and that's what you're saying. So we're excited to see a progression. We're going to have videos showing that on the app, and we're going to be putting those out, and that's what we were down there filming. And I think it benefits her, too. We talked to Thiago Alves a little bit, and he's down there still training as well. And the benefit, because he'd already been in a fight, and he told us the conversations he had with Paige, we'll cover all that. I mean, that's got to be a huge benefit having Thiago there as well, not just the amazing coaches.
It's great really having the support of ATT. So ATT is probably the biggest franchised mixed martial arts studios in the entire world. Yeah. There's hundreds and hundreds of them all over the world. And they brought us in like we're family. I mean, take my hat off to Dan Lambert. He's an amazing guy. He was just easily said, yeah, this is going to be something. Now, look, it wasn't that easy at first, but once you witnessed it in person, he said, this is something special. And he loves it just like the fans love it. So ATT is kind of like our second home in Southern Florida, and we love going there. We love using their fighters, and we love shooting our content there.
It's exciting to go there because they always treat us so well. Now, when you walk into ATT, you've probably seen photos, you've seen pictures. If you never have, I'll explain it. It's such an amazing facility. You walk in, they have all the title belts, so like different people that have won and stuff. Yep. So when the first BKFC title gets won by somebody from ATT, because they're really trained for bare knuckle, they almost have like a division of that there now. Do you think they'll be displaying that belt? That'd be awesome, right?
I think they have to now. You know, they don't have to do anything, but I think right now with the popularity of where we're going and the legitimacy of the sport and the names and the kind of fighters that are fighting, and not only the names, but their names, right? Thiago Alves is like a big brother or a little brother to them. He's their guy, and if he wins a championship, I'm sure that they're going to put that championship belt in a case in the front of ATT, and it'll be a true honor because you're among the biggest and best championship belts in history.
Yeah, that's what I call a flashpoint. That'd be a flashpoint for the organization. That'd be exciting to see if they do that. Now, when we were down there, it's funny, you're speaking about the popularity of it. Myself and our production guy, Evan, we went out for a nice steak dinner and we were all done to celebrate. And one of the bus boys, this has been happening so much. If you wear a BKFC apparel, a t-shirt, whatever, all the time this is happening now. People coming up to you and saying, oh man, we love that. This bus boy came up and I told him I'd shout him out. Don't remember your name, but you were awesome. He's like, everybody watches that here. And he was really into it. It's a good feeling, man. So we're getting more and more popular. And I would say BKFC 14 that's coming up is going to continue that train rolling along because we're also at ATT shooting what we call the face-off series, this time with Palomino and Allers. Now, if you don't know how the face-off works, I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. It's just two guys at a table, and it's me in between them. There's Evan, our production guy, shooting it, and no one else in the room. Maybe you, just kind of off in the shadows, completely dark room. It's just them. They don't speak before they get in there. They sit down, and that's the first time they see each other. So it gets very intense and very crazy. Now, the face-off we did with Allers and Palomino, you were there. You watched some of that. I want to speak on what I saw that maybe I didn't talk about in the face-off. One of the things that stuck out to me is that Jim Allers, I don't know if it was nerves. Sometimes when you're excited, sometimes when you're trying to hold yourself back, or when you're nervous, you shake a little. I know maybe he had too much coffee that morning, but I did notice when he was making a point, his hand was trembling a little bit. And I also think I saw out of his chest, I could see his heart, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. I could see it like moving his shirt. Now, do you think that's nerves, excitement? What did you think? You were in there.
I think it's a little bit of everything. But, I mean, the last time that these two guys came face to face, you know.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. It was pandemonium. I mean, it was a headbutt exchange. There was a lot of things exchanged. Yeah. So I don't think he was nervous to be like nervous. Am I going to get beat up by this guy? I think he was nervous like, is something going to go down?
What's happening?
And if it's going to go down, I want to be ready that it's going to go down here because I wasn't ready last time. I just, I thought we were getting face to face. And if it's going to go down, let me be ready for it to go down. Look, the one thing you got to say about Jim Allers, he holds, I believe, 2 fights of the night in the UFC. Yeah. I know at least one. I think it's 2. The guy will fight anybody, and he's 5-0 in our sport,
Defeated.
or 4-0 in our sport.
4-0,
he's 4-0 right now, and he's trying to be 5-0 and be the 155-pound champion. So I mean, I don't think anything's scared about Jim Allers. But I will tell you that if you're not nervous going into a fight or to a situation like that, you're really just not human. You're going to be nervous. You're always going to be nervous. It's just the way it is. You're not nervous. Am I going to get beat up? You're nervous. Am I going to be able to perform on all the things that I train for? That's the kind of nervousness that you have.
Yeah, you're prepared. You're so prepared. It's nervous excitement almost. I mean, to get out there and do it. But that was interesting to me. It was also interesting to me how calm and cool Jim seemed. He was sitting there. He's like, no. He was just coming back. No, that's not true. You're just kind of throwing little jabs, but they were so calm. Luis is upset. He was heated because he feels he's been disrespected. I noticed that as well. So Luis, tensions were a little higher with him. Do you think that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing with Luis with tensions being so high? Could that lead to him making a mistake?
I mean, it could, but I think that Luis has been in the game long enough
knows.
to keep that under wraps. But you never know. I mean, this is again, it's a different sport, right? It's a whole different animal here. But Luis is a very well polished and well schooled mixed martial artist,
Yes.
and really has some great punching skills. Jim Allers is really known for his ground game until he came over to BK, and now he's the bare knuckle beast. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm truly, again, I always say this as a fan. As a fan, I can't wait to watch the co-main event and the main event. It's going to be sensational.
Dude, I've said this to you. I said it last time we talked on here. I love watching the fights, but I'll get like a peripheral vision view of you, and I'm watching you, and you're so into it, screaming, yelling, being excited. So I know you're like the biggest fan of the sport, right. And that's exciting for me too to watch because there's so much good stuff on this card coming up. Dat win, Reggie Barnett Jr., another one. Wow. And we saw that, was it BKFC 11, I believe, where it happened, where Reggie fought, and then afterwards, Dat was in the crowd, and there was some serious heat there exchanged. That's another. I just don't think.
BKFC 12, that was
12?
9/11, yeah, 9/11.
Oh, yeah, it was 9/11. It was
Yep,
BKFC
yep.
12, because Reggie stood up on the ropes, cables, and then they went at it, yelling at each other.
Well, I mean, look, Johnny Bedford was supposed to fight that and win and defend his championship. So what we're doing here is we're going to do this for the interim title because we believe that is deserving of a championship fight and Reggie's deserving of a championship fight at this point. So they're going to do it for the interim title, and then the winner of that fight will, if Johnny Bedford's injuries are recovered by then, he'll defend his title against the winner of that fight, and that will become the real champion.
I would say, man, I mean, I'm sorry Johnny's hurt.
When I say real champion, I don't mean this is the fake champion.
No.
We call it the
guy that won all. Yeah. Because, I mean, these guys can hold the title. It's what's interim. But if you look at it, I'm sorry Johnny got hurt, as I was just telling you. But, in a way, for us promoting this, now we have another awesome fight that people want to see. And then after this, we know we're guaranteed 2 awesome fights. So I'm very sorry Johnny got hurt. But as a fan, it's going to be exciting to see him come back.
I mean, I think there's some more natural drama with this fight than there was with Johnny and Dat. So I think we're going to have a lot more lead up and build up into this fight.
Now, where do you think the drama comes from with those two?
Just online. Like, Dat feels as though that he was disrespected a little bit by Reggie at some of his fights. Reggie would call Dat out and say, you're not ready to fight me. You don't know what bare knuckles about. That is a little disrespected by Reggie in the respect that Dat has been in there with the best in the world in boxing. But Dat keeps bringing that up to Reggie. Look, your boxing record is this. My boxing record is that. And Reggie always responds with, my bare knuckle record is 5-1. Pretty damn good bare knuckle record.
Different ballgame.
Now you are 2-0,
yeah.
But I'm 5-1. I have 6 fights in this, so I'm the veteran in this. Yes, you're the veteran in boxing, but we're not boxing. We're fighting. So that's why it's called bare knuckle fighting. We're fighting.
Reggie's greedy for respect, obviously. Sure. He's not getting the proper respect from Dad, he feels like. Reggie does deserve that respect. Anyone who walks the ring deserves that respect. But some guys, you've been here longer, you're the veteran. I mean, and this guy's coming and talking. I get it. I want to see this fight. I'm excited to see this fight.
I get it too, but you know what? I mean, let's just go back to Dat. Like, Dat does things that no one really does in bare knuckle. He puts his hand on his knees. He moves his head.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He doesn't let the guy hit him. Sensational knockout power. So he's very fun to watch. And Reggie's always fun to watch.
Yeah.
And always comes to fight. Never takes a backward step. And he's slick and can punch. He does it all. It's going to be a tremendous fight. I'm really, really, really looking forward to that fight. Probably, and no disrespect to Palomino and Allers, but probably a little more than Palomino and Allers because they have that feud. But I mean, the co-main event and the main event both could be fight of the year.
Oh, I said the same thing earlier to somebody as I walked in here today. I'm very excited for them. And there's 8 more fights, too, that we didn't even talk about yet. And sometimes the undercard, I mean, people get excited for the main event, but what I've seen in BKFC, they deliver the main events. But then the undercard, like when you watch boxing and stuff, I always pay attention to the undercard. Most people, that's where they're drinking, hanging out with their friends, and they pay attention. At BKFC, every single fight could be fight of the night. And it's proven time and time and time again. I mean, that separates us from a lot of other companies. But what else do you think does? I mean, I was trying to come up with a list of, we have so many things that separate us from the rules, from...
well, I mean, look, it was designed... I actually watched the piece that they did on Vice for us. It was
great,
our first show. It was really, really awesomely.
You can wipe your ass with it. That's what he yelled. You remember if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
But it was well done. And what I said in that interview is everything, the rule set, the fighting platform, everything about this sport was built for fast-paced excitement. And that's what it is. So sometimes we don't put a 10-0 guy against a 10-0 guy. Sometimes we put a 5-5 guy against a 5-5 guy, and they produce the best fights because there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. In this squared circle, they toe the line 3 feet apart, and they have to bang it out, and they do almost each and every time. That's what makes it so exciting.
And it's nonstop, man. It's nonstop. I don't
2-minute rounds.
Because they got to win. And I don't mean to shill this, but I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it in my life, man. It's incredible.
Again, this not promoting this. This is just me talking
it's true.
to you. I've been in boxing my whole life. Literally, my dad had a championship fight 3 days after I was born.
Wow, really?
In the Philadelphia Spectrum with one of the fighters he was training. He trained 7 world champions. Been all around the world with this. I fought. My brothers fought. We were raised around fighters. I love boxing. Love it.
Yeah, you do.
But I can't say I can't watch. I almost can't watch boxing after watching Bare Knuckle. It's crazy.
Hey, you being the founder and owner of Bare Knuckle, it's fine. It's just fine to say. I'm sure your father, is looking down, smiling at everything you're doing.
So we had a true measuring card the other night in Plant City, Florida.
Okay.
Where we did Total Line 2.
Yeah.
We had boxing matches on the undercard, and then we actually had boxing matches after the fight was done.
A true boxing.
And they were great. They were great fights.
With gloves.
Really well-matched fight. Boxing gloves. Okay. Glove boxing. Okay. It was great. Like very competitive, good matches. And then we turned into Bare Knuckle. And then we went back to the boxing, and the fans, you could see where the fans were like, the boxing's great. And it was great. Again, I'm not taking anything away from it, but they were like, wow, this is just different. It's a different animal. It's a different level of their attention. Like their attention was like, they can't lull at all. They can't be like, But in this, they were just like,
I'll say this. I noticed this last time BKFC. I kind of looked for it. You don't see a lot of people on their phones texting during fights. Like you see that at other places. They're like, look, they're just locked.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Locked. So it's going to be cool. BKFC 14. Any on the undercard you're looking forward to? Any other fights on the undercard?
I've got a guy named Jake Brutal Bostic. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he can do. He actually he's a good fighter. He's trained by or managed by Maureen Shea, who was a former women's world champion boxer. Actually, they made the movie $1 Million Baby around her, so it was a great movie. He also trained some celebrities like Timbaland, who will be in attendance at the fight. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see Jake fight. I can't wait to see a lot of these guys. Francisco Ricci is another guy that fought for us before. He's coming back. Jared Kid Gotti Grant, another kid that fought for us. Scored a sensational knockout. He's coming back again as well. We have a women's fight with Radine Elcombe. She's fighting one of our own that we've had 3 times or 2 times before in the past, Britton Hart.
Oh, Britton Hart,
It's going to be a sensational fight. So there's just so many fights in that card that are going to be great.
Now, Paige Vanzant is going to be in the house. That's correct?
Yes.
So this fight that we're looking at could be the setup for Paige Vanzant to see who she's going to fight.
Could be. We have a pool of around 6 different girls, and these girls are going to fight, and we have 4 other girls, and we're going to do some things to really narrow this down because we want to be able to announce Paige's opponent immediately following that fight.
Of course.
And Paige is going to fight right in the beginning of February, right around the Super Bowl. We're going to do an event around the Super Bowl. We did that before, and it was hugely successful for us, and we're going to do it again.
That's huge.
But this time it's a little different. A lot more people know about us now.
Yeah.
So that was our 3rd fight that we did. This is our 4th fight we did. This is going to be our 14th, 15th, 16th fight with Total Line. So really our 16th event that we've done, almost 3 years into this thing. So I think we're going to get a lot more fanfare there and a lot more celebrities that want to come to this fight.
I agree. Yeah, we're getting hit up by celebrities nonstop. Right? From people like you wouldn't even think would be into this or hitting
crazy.
It's
remember
nuts.
The one, I don't want to say his name, but remember the one because we're working out a deal with him, but we were like, this guy just DM'd us?
Yeah, like,
and then we're going back and forth, and he did a video. It's like, who else you think it would be?
Yeah, that was pretty cool because that's how big of a star this guy is. Yeah. And then there's other people that we look at that you just wouldn't. That's what I love about this game. You wouldn't think they'd be fight fans. Yeah. And you're like, whoa, and they love it. So that's cool.
The thing I've always said about Bare Knuckle, and then I'll let you move on, is I think that you can adapt to this sport faster than you can to boxing or MMA because why? As a schoolyard kid, 6 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, whatever that is, you might have your first bare knuckle fight. You're going to get in a fist fight on the playground.
Yep.
All the way up to maybe 50 or 60 years old when you're in a bar, you could get in a fist fight. I just think people can adapt to it easier because they know what it is. They don't necessarily know what some of these jiu-jitsu moves are, which is great sport, mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu, but it's something I think is more adaptable.
Of course, definitely. Well, we're excited to see what's going to happen next for BKFC. Like I said, it's just the train is rolling and it's rolling fast, and we're excited about that. And you've been working on this for so many years. I know you're excited about it as well. BKFC 14, the Intercontinental Miami, going to be an awesome show with people are coming out of the woodwork for the show, as we were just saying. So we're looking forward to it. You can catch it at BKTV app. And all the extra content, the face-off with Luis you had us talk about, and Jim, and so many other things as well. It's all there. Past fights, toe the line. You're getting, on the app, I'm going to shill this because it's incredible. You're getting at least one BKFC fight a month. You're getting a toe the line usually per month. And you're getting all the extra content. BKTVApp.com if you want to get in if you still haven't yet. I mean, that's the place to be. So if you're stealing this, go download the app. It's dirt cheap. I mean, for what you're getting. What's the price on it now?
Now watch it. It's $3.99 a month. I mean,
you can afford that.
It's less than the cost of a cup of coffee at some coffee shops.
Yeah, the ones they're like gasoline. But the point is, it's like gasoline when I drink. We'll call it bar bucks. We can't say what it is. Boof, and you're all shot out of a cannon. That's why I like my Tiger Life here.
Tiger Life energy.
Tiger Life. Cheers to another great sit down, my man. And we'll see you at BKFC 14, BKTVApp.com. Tiger Life. Cheers.